All right, I'm here with another video. Earlier in the year, I made a video that quickly became outdated when I went over the 10 most expensive games in my collection, just the stories how I got them. And then this year, retro game collecting has seen a huge spike in prices in a lot of ways. Just kind of randomly across almost everything I've seen a huge spike in, some stuff more than others. So that video quickly became outdated. So I thought it'd be fun to revisit this again. I thought about making a yearly thing like I do with collection videos, but I thought it'd be fun to revisit it again. There's a few that stayed in the top 10, but for the most part, the top 10 got switched up quite a bit. And my former number one is like down to like number 14 now. I'm just looking at the top 10. Before I get into this is not to be meant to be some sort of wealth flaunting. I think that stuff's really lame. Um, I don't really care about that. It's more so just a kind of fun thing to see, how I got stuff. That there are still deals to be had out there, even if they're hard to come by. It's not meant to be any kind of wealth flaunting or bragging or anything, so don't take it like that. But I'll jump into it now. The first one on here on the list, I'm going off of price charting. Their prices, so might be higher, might be lower. They're usually pretty reliable, but their prices are usually a little bit under like the going rate on eBay. But still a good resource. So number 10 on my most expensive games list is one with a kind of funny story, kind of horrible story. Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance. Uh, this is a great game, really great Fire Emblem game. The first Fire Emblem game I checked out. So I bought this game back in I want to say 2013, off of a friend. At the time, it was like a $30 game, and I bought it off of a friend who had it for $10. So price charting now has it listed at this is complete and in pretty good shape. Price charting now has this game listed at being worth $214.99. So I definitely got a good deal with $10. My friend might be watching this video. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rip you off. It happens. I'm sorry. You're not getting it back though. Um, but yeah, pretty solid deal on that. Definitely got hooked up. But it's just crazy to see that a game that was once worth like $30 is now worth so much more. Um, I'm surprised Nintendo hasn't released this in some way, done like an HD port or something. Just because it's so in demand, because it's such a good game, and also there's just no way to play these old GameCube games. But I really think prices will dive on that once there's some kind of virtual console for GameCube stuff. So number 9 then is a pretty recent acquisition. I got it this year, which is crazy. And it was a good price when I got it this year, but it's only just absolutely skyrocketed. So valued at $216.79 is Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine for the game or for the N64. So this was developed by Factor 5, who's best known for like Rogue Squadron, Star Wars games. Um, and this was actually Blockbuster exclusive. You can see the Blockbuster sticker still on the back of mine. I've had these Blockbuster stickers on boxes before. It's better to just keep them on there because it's just going to destroy the box. The only other way you could get this was, I believe, from the LucasArts website. But this is a pretty expensive game now. Obviously, I said, what, $216 it's worth? Yeah, $216. So I got this I have a chain of local game stores that I visit pretty frequently. And I got this one in one of the chains closer to Cleveland they had it listed at $50. So pretty crazy find there. $50 for this game. This was just in either January or February earlier this year. So this was this year, and it was maybe worth about 75 at that point. So it was a good find already, but it's just absolutely skyrocketed. So pretty unbelievable, but a good find nonetheless. This was another pretty recent one within the last couple months, actually. I definitely did pay for this one, although not exactly. So I talked about that local game chain, and I take all my trade credit stuff from, anything that's not worth putting on eBay for me. I put in a box and then, fill up a box or two and take them to this place. And I got a good trade credit offer that completely covered this. And I already had a cart for this anyway, so it was just a good buy altogether. But it is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Collector's Edition. This is the one with the gold card. It has the kind of cover with the that's a little bit more shiny. I can't really say holographic because it's not. But this is valued here at $220. Um, and yeah, I paid. I think their price was 205, and I got that day $275 in trade credit. So I maybe at the most had like 30 or 40 bucks into that trade credit stuff, um, at the most. So I got a pretty nice deal on this, and I already had a gold cart that I sold for a pretty good price on eBay. So one of the big things I like to say is you get to a point if you're going out hunting regularly for games, looking for games, you get to a point where the hobby almost starts paying for itself in a way. I hate that term usually, but it's kind of true, at least with me. Is I go hardcore garage sailing, hardcore flea marketing, and get a lot of games. Even if they're not great games, I can always trade them in for better stuff, and that's how I got this game. Now, obviously, condition's not as great on this. There's some, folding in here, but my goal is to have every Zelda game complete in box, and that's definitely one of them off the list. So we're kind of in a trio of N64 games here. From the same store, I got the Indiana Jones, but like a year prior, I picked this one up. I think I had trade credited this one as well. So I remember I paid like $30 out of pocket for this, I think, after my trade credit ran out. Um, this Price Charts has this worth $227.50. And this is one of my favorite games. This game's awesome. Everyone should know that, though. The original Paper Mario, this is complete in box and really just great shape. I mean, there's a little bit of folding or creasing there, but really great shape. I always put my complete in box games in box protectors. I can't recommend this enough. Any complete in box game, doesn't matter if it's worth 200 bucks or worth, $8, it's going in a box protector. Cannot recommend that enough. But yeah, this is a great, 90 bucks. Once again, get that trade credit stuff in. But yeah, trade credit, great. I think I paid 30 bucks out of pocket. 90 is already a good deal, especially now. But, try to get it down with trade credit. Of course, original Paper Mario, still my favorite Paper Mario game. I know people like the GameCube 1000 Year Door better, but I still say that this is a better game. For me, at least. I don't know, I find it more fun. So this one's kind of a weird one. Price Charts has this one at being worth $233.65. But it's just kind of strange. I don't know how accurate that is because there's probably not very many copies of this going up on eBay. But I found this back probably, I think, 2013 in a eBay lot. If I got an eBay lot of RPGs, I think for around 50 bucks and they're all PS2 RPGs, like Dragon Quest 8, some of the Final Fantasies, just stuff that I wanted, stuff to play on the PS2, and this was included here, and this was kind of already worth something at the time. It was worth about 80 bucks, just this variant at the time, and it's just only continued to climb. I'm surprised this didn't do, people didn't notice this or something, but I should probably just show it at once. This is Xenosaga 3, as you can see, with the lenticular hologram cover. To my knowledge, this was Best Buy exclusive. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. That you got this at Best Buy when you bought this game. Xenosaga 3 is already pretty pricey, but the hologram version is worth even more. But yeah, I got that in a great lot of PS2 RPGs, and I'm just not sure why someone didn't spot this. Because I think I paid like 40 or 50 bucks for that whole lot, like I said, and it was probably 8 to 10 RPGs. There's like Dark Cloud 1 in there, just good stuff. And yeah, this was really cool to see in there. So definitely an oddity one, or definitely an odd one. Not one I really see very often with the lenticular cover. If anyone else has that or has anything to say about that, let me know. I think I read somewhere it was from Best Buy, but you never know. These people online. I know you think you might not get lied to on the internet, but you do. So this next one, I paid, let me see, I remember the price was $95 on it at my local store, and I had 20% off, and I also, once again, had trade credit. So this is Persona 2, Eternal Punishment. I'm a huge Persona fan, so this is great to have in the set, in the collection. But yeah, this is... So I remember it's 2017 I got this. The manager of my store, who I'm friendly with, I talk to him, when I ever see him in there. He's a good guy. He traded in his entire game collection because he wanted to buy a house. So he traded all into the store that he manages. And he had some great stuff. And he was just buying it back in the day when that stuff was relevant. And he had like Panzer Dragoon Saga, crazy stuff. I think they had 650 on it at the time, which looking back now is insanely good deal now. But they had 95 on this. I got 20% off and I had trade credit. So I paid very little out of pocket for this. And it's in fantastic condition. I mean, I think he was the only owner before it. I think he bought it brand new. So it's just a great deal all around. A great game to have complete because I'm such a big fan of the series. And this will not be the last time we see Persona in this video. But next is probably one of my best finds of all time. My best Goodwill find by far. If I didn't say how much Persona 2 is worth, according to price charts, it says it's worth $280.07. I don't know. It's just relevant, I guess. So this was one of my best finds of all time. I should get this disc resurfaced better. The game works. I played through it, but the disc is not great looking. But another PlayStation game. This was at a Goodwill for $3. It mixed in with the CDs. Klonoa, Door to Phantomile. Back when I got it, it was like a $60, $70 game maybe. I was pretty thrilled because it was a game I wanted in the collection anyway. This is a really fun 2.5D platformer for PS1. And it's a really great game. I would not recommend paying... Price Charts has it as worth $305. I, under no circumstance, would recommend paying $305 for it on eBay. I think you can get it on the PS3 and the Vita under like the PS1 Classics. I think it's like $5. So I would recommend doing that because it is a great game. It's a really fun 2D platformer, 2.5D platformer. But I don't know if it's worth the price. But yeah, $3 at the Goodwill. Obviously, a great one to have in the collection and a really fun game. But yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, Goodwill finds still can happen. This was probably 2015 or 2016. And crazy stuff there. But funny side note, there was a summer I used to go to the flea market more than I did garage sales, and then this was like probably 2014, and then I kind of started going, just putting all my energy into garage sales because it's just a way better way to get games, at least in my area. But there was a summer where I would go out there every week, and a vendor that just had a bunch of random stuff. Not even really, there was a few games he had, but it was mostly just random stuff. And he had Klonoa 2 there for $4. And I just didn't pick it up. It didn't have the manual, and I was like, I don't know, $4, no manual. What am I, an idiot? Why would I buy that? And now I'm looking at that game, and it's hard to come by. And it was sitting there the whole summer, every week for like 3 months. It was just there. I don't know why the other collectors at the flea market didn't pick it up either, but it was never out there again. So, really shame. So next up, I said Persona would return, and it did. It's going to. This is, once again, not, I know the trade credit ones aren't that interesting. This popped up in one of the stores for $150. Price Chart now has it at $311.83. This popped up for $150. It's in great shape. It's like immaculate condition. And I knew that I had to get it, so I scrounged up like the crappiest box of random trade credit stuff I had, and I got $40 for that box somehow. I don't know. So I paid $110 out of pocket for this. Excellent to have in the collection, even if it's not really the best. It's definitely a rough start for Persona. If you want to try out Persona, you're better off just getting the PlayStation Classic. If you want to try out the original one, I mean, you're probably better off getting the PSP game, although that's pretty pricey. But the PlayStation Classic, I think you can get for like $20 brand new because it was such a dud. And it's actually on there, so it's a good way of trying it out at the very least. But this was, very recent, just to see how much things have spiked and continue to spike. I got this at the end of 2018, so pretty recent, but a great find. This one is funny. So there's a game store. The guy who like I think he's the manager of the store. He's a really good guy. He's really nice. He's hooked me up with some great stuff. This store is kind of the store itself. I think is kind of incompetent. They've closed down a bunch of stores. It used to be a chain, and now I think there's just one left. And it's kind of incompetent. Like I don't want to be mean, but but he's hooked me up. Like they say, oh yeah, we just throw. They told me at one point that if they get anything complete in box, they just throw away the box and manual, which is unbelievable. I saved a box of stuff. I paid like $1 or $2 each for some boxes, and I got like Super Mario RPG box, Link to the Past box, insane stuff. And they're not doing that now. Just to be clear, they sell their complete in box stuff because it's ludicrous not to. It adds so much value to a game. But this place often, I'm getting sidetracked. This place often highly prices games for no reason. They have their own system that they use, and I think they base it off like Amazon comps and stuff. But their system, it baffles me because some of their stuff is just so ridiculously overpriced. And then this shows up in their store, immaculate condition, with the foam and everything in it. Shining Force CD, obviously for Sega CD here. This shows up in the store for $50 they have on it. This was probably, I think, 3 years ago now. For $50, this shows up in the store. For reference right now, price chart says it is worth $342.84. So just a crazy, ridiculous, absurd find. And very cool to have in the collection. I'd like to try this one out. I actually haven't because I think I got this around the time I moved, and then I didn't have a lot of my retro stuff hooked up. I have my Sega CD and Sega Genesis hooked up now, so I would like to actually try this one because I've not gotten a chance to try it yet. But crazy deal. And we'll go to number one. This one has a funny story. It's a great redemption story. Fans of the channel or viewers of the channel. I don't really like the term fans. I don't know why anyone would want to be a fan of this. But viewers of the channel will probably know this story if you've been around long enough. But my number one game here is Super Bowling for the Nintendo 64. This is just a crappy bowling game. It's bad. It's the most I've paid for a single game. Price Charts now has it worth $353.55. It is the most I've ever paid for a game. And I wish I hadn't. So here's the story. Back in 2013 or 2014, I went to a garage sale that had a Super Nintendo with Donkey Kong Country, a game called Adventures of Dr. Franken, which is like a side scroller. And then this game, for some reason, no N64 was there. The Super Nintendo was in the box, by the way, too. And it was all $5 for the bundle. So obviously a great deal, right? And Super Bowling's in there. And at the time, Super Bowling is not worth that much. Obviously it's a rare game. It's one of the rarest N64 games. Probably the rarest, except for Clay Fighter. But yeah, so I buy that obviously for $5, and the label's in pretty rough shape. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was not in the best shape. It was kind of torn. So I thought, you know what, I'll just sell this copy now, and I will maybe I'll find it some other day, and it'll be in better condition, right? Because I am going for a full N64 set, and I'm about 60 games away, 50 games away, I don't know. So I was like, yeah, I'll just find one later, right? And I never did. And then the game started to skyrocket, and you just never saw it. I sold it for $39.99 on eBay. Ridiculous, really stupid decision. This showed up back in March, right before everything started to lock down. And I saw it there in my local store. It happened to be my birthday month, which my local store gives you a 20% off on anything in the store when you bring in your experience or your, what is it called? They call it your experience card. It's your just like a membership card, like a rewards card. So I paid $240 for this. I paid $240 for a crappy bowling game because I'm a moron who wants to complete a collection for some reason. But yeah, a funny story of how I was just a complete moron and sold a game for $40 that ended up being worth over $300 more than that in a couple years later. So that's the story of that. If you come across something rare for cheap, I understand, and you have any desire to ever have it in the future, even if it's not in great shape, hold on to it. You know, if you come across something like this and you think, I don't know if it's, I want to have this game, but it's not in the best shape. Because here's what you do, right? This shows up in my store in, I buy the game in 2014. This shows up in my store in 2020, and I buy this copy and sell my old one off and maybe have a couple extra bucks into this one for a label upgrade. That's what you do. Hold on to something like that. That's my life lesson. So that's that for my top 10 most valuable games in my collection. Once again, I don't mean this as some kind of wealth flaunt. I just like to tell the stories of how I get these games. Some of them are pretty interesting. Um, Let me know if you like this format. Let me know if you have what your most valuable games are, how you got them, everything. I always like seeing stories like that. It's always pretty crazy when that's kind of a lot of the fun of game hunting for me is just finding something ridiculous for really cheap, getting a great deal, a Klonoa in the Goodwill or, stuff like that. It's just fun. But yeah, leave a comment down below as well as any video ideas for topics you'd like me to discuss on the channel. Follow me on Twitter at Objo Gaming. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Like the video, of course, because it always really helps out. And until next time, I'll see you.